We need skills to be competitive. Therefore, we need policies that promote the development of skills and attitudes to be more globally competitive. To discuss this, we pick up from our recent and separate discussions with Martin Soloja and Paddy Njoku. Martin Soloja is a top editor with the prestigious Guardian newspapers. Dr. Paddy Njoku is a writer, commentator, and public affairs analyst. Please join us in our separate discussions, starting with Martin Soloja. To have a good educational system, you need the ICTs, you need all these different things. So can you get your educational system fixed today and make it be competitive, vis-a-vis educational systems around the world without a good power infrastructure situation?
Let me give you a good example.
Yes.
When you get to so many of our universities today, you find they offer computer science.
Yes.
They offer computer engineering and all sorts of electronic whatever. And within university campus, there is no free Wi-Fi for students to get connected. Yet they have power supply.
Even paid, reliable Wi-Fi.
So, yes, paid, reliable Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But students in most places have access.
Yeah.
The university system has subscribed, and they get a system whereby all students can get connected so that they will have access to information.
Absolutely.
But a situation where a university system allows the students to cross the road, to access cyber cafe, to check email.
Yes.
And it's not good for the 21st century. And power is not the issue. Why the leaders are not innovative in their thinking. It is not power. So that infrastructure that is needed there is there. But the people who still defend, or maybe National Universities Commission for the federal universities, or for some things that look at the turn it in facility as a software that you use in checking academic integrity. Maybe you have plagiarized. For the university system to have access to this, they say that the National Universities Commission has to coordinate. And I don't need it. I have access to an e-library. I have personal access to Turnitin system, because I have gone through a system that enables me to pass my works through them, and if I can subscribe, I return it.
Yeah.
So why won't individual universities with academic freedom, so-called, be able to have access to these facilities around the world? Why can't a federal university like University of Lagos, or University of Ife, or University of Maiduguri, why can't the management be allowed to link up with any foreign university without recourse to the National Universities Commission in order to improve access to information and research orientation? So we do not require power. What we require at that juncture is the willpower and the freedom allowed these institutions to grow on their own. We don't require contractors from outside the system. For instance, if a university has engineering faculty that offers building engineering, architecture, quantity survey, and all these building courses, why can't those institutions be allowed to build their library? Why can't those students and their teachers collaborate? Maybe there is skills gap to build a system. Why should contractors come from the legislature or the executive or any other arm to build university system?
So we need the government to provide, when we talk about an enabling environment, we're looking at all the factors that can cause the private sector to be successful.
To try.
If we don't have these things, we don't have improvements in healthcare delivery, in education, in skill sets, now how are we going to defeat poverty, which is averaging about 50% across Africa, and maybe a little bit more in some countries?
We can't if we do not have this, if we don't fix our education, we don't fix our health care delivery system, we do not fix
skill sets.
These three things: skills acquisition, and it will come through institutional education. If you do not fix health care, we will not defeat poverty.
Because and then of course support it with
because you see poverty,
with infrastructure, good infrastructure.
Yes,
yeah.
we can't defeat. We don't fix the power supply. We can't fix critical infrastructure.
Is there hope that we will be able
poverty.
Is there, as you look down the way, in light of all of this, what will be your final general thoughts on the issue of how Africa can be a little bit more competitive and be able to follow global trends?
You see, Africa can be competitive, as we have said now, when African leaders that are always meeting under the auspices of AU have this consensus that they have to fix education, that they have to fix the healthcare delivery system, they have to fix critical infrastructure and address integration that has been on, integration talk that has been on for years.
But I thought that we're making progress there with economic integration.
And economic integration, we are making some progress, but critical infrastructure to link up. If you still want to travel by road to even Ghana here, it's still not easy. You want to fly to Rwanda, you can't get there today.
No train service.
No train service. You fly, if you want to get to Rwanda, you have to fly to Addis Ababa first and sleep there before you get inside Africa.
That is correct. We now continue with Dr. Paddy Njoku. We hear that Nigeria has now over 10 million kids that are out of school.
Yes.
And they say there's about 30 million in Africa as a whole. So that's about 1/3 of the kids in Africa contributed. In Africa that are out of school, contributed by Nigeria alone. That's a serious problem. And then within Nigeria, there's this wide disparity in school enrollments and attendance between the North and the South.
Yes.
These are critical issues. First of all, are these statements correct in the first place? And if they are correct, what are we doing as a country about the disparity between the North and the South and about the lack of enrollment or the dropout ratio that I've just mentioned amongst our kids?
Thank you very much. The reality is frightening. And we must face it. It is true that Nigeria constitutes at least 1/4 of African population. So we also have between 1/4 and 1/3 of out-of-school children in Africa. But
well, 1/3 is much more visible than 1/4.
Yeah, than 1/4. Yes. But I have always told leaders in this country to be very careful in neglecting to tell the truth to all the people of this country and then facing the responsibility squarely. We have a situation whereby in certain sections of the country, one man can produce 52 children and feel that he's living in nature. When he produces those 52 children, they become the responsibility of the entire nation. So we have to start some sort of education that we are no longer living in nature, as we are not animals, we are not birds. Because the offspring has to be nurtured and it costs something, we must be careful how many we produce. So, as a result, today we have a top-heavy, a youth-heavy population. What do I mean? The Nigerian population is almost 70% youth-heavy, because, like I said, one ailing and aging man.
About the people under 35 account for about 75%.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because out of all these people, one ailing and aging man might have produced 50, 45, 35, not bothering what they become.
Yeah.
And this is why we're having problems. So the state has responsibility in the education of the child. Therefore, the state must have responsibility in the production of this child. What is the responsibility? Is to educate the parents.
Yes.
That, sorry, you have the freedom to marry as many wives as possible. You have the freedom to produce as many children, but you must limit that freedom relative to your ability to bring them up. Because where your freedom stops, our responsibility starts.
Now, your contribution has been extraordinary, and
Thank you.
It's been wonderful having you. But I want you to, if you have any general thoughts that you can give, in light of the fact that education is so central to our transformation program, as we have clearly stated. So, what general thoughts do you have for our viewers? To speak to the issue of how education is primary and fundamental for strong, inclusive economic growth in Nigeria.
First of all, Wendell Wilkie said, education is the mother of leadership. Education is the mother of leadership. It is the mother of development. There's no way you can develop a polity as big as Nigeria without having people who are properly educated to do so. Secondly, the economy is not run by the technology, and in an economy is not run by the PhD holders. You know that we are suffering in this country the dearth, the paucity of skilled manpower. If you want to get tiles correctly laid in your house, you go to Benin Republic. You go to Ghana, because these are people who are still practicing trades, learning them, acquiring them, having the patience of undergoing tutelage and producing a masterpiece at the end of the training. Yes, we must face the responsibility of leading this nation and seeing each and every one of us as leaders in our respective capacities and not abdicating responsibilities at our level, thinking that because somebody somewhere has not done something, therefore, let us continue waiting. If we continue doing so, we will all be dodging our responsibilities, but we can never dodge the consequences of dodging our responsibilities.
Extraordinary. On that note, Dr. Njaku, I want to thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Thanks for having me.